Hey everybody. So you're in for a special treat today. Today I have a guest with me. This is Dorothy Clear from Clear Organization. She owns an organizational company, and she's also an author with her book called Restore Order, Restore Joy. And it's a book about how to get your life in order after loss, which is not what we're really going to focus on today, but just on a personal note, I wanted to give Dorothy some kudos because a lot of you know I lost my daughter 3 years ago, and Dorothy came as a guest to one of my support group meetings and helped a lot of the parents work through some of their issues. And for me personally, it was, how do I get rid of Lucy's things? It was just really overwhelming for me to think about getting rid of everything at once. And Dorothy just told me, just get rid of it one at a time if that's what you have to do, or a little at a time. And I know it seems so simple, but I could not put those two thoughts together. It wasn't even something that I could even rationalize in my head. It was like all or nothing. So Dorothy definitely helped me through that period. So I just want to say thank you. And this book has been
Welcome.
really good in my recovery efforts with all of that. So thank you very much. So I'm just gonna let Dorothy introduce herself. And then today we're gonna talk about organizing your home and getting it ready to sell. And if you're not gonna sell, it's still good to have an organized home. And we definitely all have the time right now being in quarantine. So go ahead, Dorothy, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Dorothy Clear. I'm the owner of Clear Organization. I started my business in 2011 after being let go from a corporate job. And at the age of 49, and I thought, oh my God, I don't know if I have another corporate job search in me. So about 9 months later, I was able to start my own professional organizing company. And I really did not, up until that point, realize what a passion I had for organizing. But a friend of mine asked me to help her declutter her home, and that's when the light bulb went off. And I started doing my research, and I found that there was a whole industry out there of professional organizers. So I joined the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals, and I went to their um, annual conference about 6 months later, and I met the Pittsburgh chapter of NAPO, and then I joined the Pittsburgh chapter in May 2012. And I've been an active board member ever since. So NAPO, along with some other sister organizations, helped me get my credentials and my education. And I am now a certified professional organizer specializing with the grieving client. But I can help people downsize, declutter, uh, organize a craft room, organize their photos. I do virtual organizing thanks now to this crisis that we're in. I got some training on doing virtual organizing, and I'm also taking a coaching class so that I can help better coach my clients.
That's fantastic. And I don't think that I mentioned how we met. So we met at a professional moms networking event. And after the meeting was over, I kind of chased Dorothy out the door and said, hey, let's grab a coffee, because our businesses just kind of go hand in hand, because Lord knows I walk into plenty of houses, and usually one of the first questions I ask is, what are we going to do with all this stuff? Because people tend to collect stuff, and I I am right there. I like stuff. I like to be surrounded by my things. So
And if I can just interject here, Lisa, it's important to know that there's a difference between having a cleaning person come in, having a professional organizer work with you, or having a professional home stager come in. Now, I can declutter and home stage, but I'm not a professional home stager. So if that's something that you need, that's something that you should look at.
right.
I'm always honest with my clients on what I can help them with and what I can't.
Right. And I think that we're both of that same mindset of getting to know people, because if we're not the person for the job, referring them to someone that we've
Absolutely.
kind of vetted, and giving them the resources that they need for the person that can best do the job. So
That's part of our code of ethics as professionals.
definitely. So one of the first questions that I thought that we would tackle today is, why should people downsize?
Well, normally when people call me and ask me for help, they are frustrated and overwhelmed. Nobody wants to sit in those kind of emotions. So it's when they kind of get to their breaking point where they've tried everything else and they can't seem to do it on their own. That's when they reach out and ask for professional help. So one of the main reasons is you don't want to sit in those negative feelings. You want to ask for help. The other is, as we age, we accumulate so much stuff. And I learned this when we moved into this house 10 years ago, and the people who had lived here for 50 years moved out. And that was before I was even a professional organizer. That was in 2010. And I saw what the process was for our family and their family and how much stuff was involved. And
Mhm.
so as you get older, you don't want to have that much stuff. If you're going to downsize and move to a smaller residence or an apartment, sort of a patio home or a senior environment, you don't want to have to drag all your stuff with you. So, and you don't want to leave that as a legacy to your children if you pass on while you're still in the family home.
Right. Yes. And I can say that I've only lived in my house here for 4 years, and we've had a dumpster twice to get rid of stuff.
My
Once,
biggest problem right now is I have adult children who have moved out and left a lot of their stuff here.
yes,
So I can sympathize with people who have raised children and have a lot of their children's stuff still in their house.
yes, yes. I mean, that's what
It's
parents are
time to
for.
call those kids and say, please help me. I need to downsize. I need to set up some time with you to go through your stuff and decide what you want and what you don't.
Hmm. So, several years ago, my dad's mom passed away. She was the last in the family home to pass away. And we went in there to clean that house out, and it was just so overwhelming. And my mom, I can still remember her, God rest her soul. She said, I'm not doing this to you guys. And she went home and just tore through everything and called us and said, get what you want because the rest of it's going. So she was just so overwhelmed at what my grandma had left for the family to sort through that she just decided that that was not going to happen to her kids. So, yeah.
Yeah, so many things. I hear this from my clients too. So many things have been passed down from generation to generation. And there's a certain level of sentimentality or obligation to keep some of that stuff. And people really need help making decisions on what to keep and why to keep it.
Yeah. And a lot of times when people are downsizing, they can't take everything. And it is so difficult to make those decisions as to what to take. And just like getting rid of Lucy's things, sometimes you just need somebody to talk it through with and help you come to the realization that maybe it is time to pass it along. And you are the person that is the most qualified to definitely help someone with that.
Well, you bring up an interesting point. Trying to determine what you can take with you and what you may have to leave behind. A professional organizer can help you look at the future space that you're moving into, come up with a floor plan, and help you decide what you love best in your current home and what's going to fit into the new home. So that's something that I don't know if a lot of people have a skill to do on their own. So
Mhm.
that's where a professional organizer can be invaluable to you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so they've made the decision to downsize. Now, where do we start? That's the next question.
Well, this is probably the most overwhelming part of the process for most people. I don't know where to start. I hear that from my clientele all the time. So, what I do when I go in there and what I advise people who are going to try to do this on their own is you have to start somewhere. And the starting point, you can look at it in one of two ways. Do I want to tackle the most condensed part of my house first, or do I want to do the easiest part of my house first? So it all depends on what your priorities are and your living situation. If your living space is cluttered, I would start there. If most of what you own is in storage, then that might be the best place to start.
Okay, good, good information. Uh, I'm always, let's start with the hardest and work our way to easy. That's my
Uh,
personal
yeah,
choice.
most people want to start with the easy stuff first. They think, do easy, get it out of the way. But sometimes getting the biggest chunk and seeing the progress that you make right away is very motivating.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. All right. So the next question, what if someone can't make a decision on whether to keep something or let it go? What do you do then?
Well, I would do the same thing I did with you when we were talking about your sentimentality with Lucy's things and how that affects your grieving process. What you need to do is have somebody to bounce that off of. Um, it's hard to brainstorm one by yourself, and have somebody to use as a sounding board to bounce those ideas off of. And in doing that, having that personal conversation, I, from an outside point of view, might have an idea that you haven't been able to think of because my emotions are not tied into that decision the way yours are.
Right.
So really having somebody in it, and if you're not working with a professional organizer, just having somebody who's non-judgmental go through that process with you can be very helpful in making those decisions.
Yeah. And if someone's not using a professional organizer and trying to make decisions like that, you definitely can't have someone whose mentality is just throw it all away, because that's where.
Absolutely. You need somebody who kind of has an objective point of view and is not tied emotionally to you. Like you
Mhm.
would not try to do this with your own husband.
No.
You may have a close personal friend or maybe a business colleague. Ask them to do you this favor, and they might be willing.
Okay. So once people have made the decision to call you, then where do they go with all of the stuff? Do they make donations with it, or?
Well, I have a ton of resources on how to donate or let go of things, whether it's recycling things, reselling things, or donating them to worthy causes. And I usually work with the homeowner if they have a preference. Some people like one charity over another. Some people like to stay local instead of going with bigger charities. So what I do is I offer to fill up my SUV with anything that they're getting rid of, that they're discarding. Not the junk. I won't haul the junk away, but I will haul away their donations. And I will take them to places that they designate. And if they don't have a preference, then I'll usually take it to the closest donation center to their home or to my home. I take a lot of recycling to Brady's Run. And this time during this stay at home order, things are a little different. For a while, at the beginning of this quarantine, donation centers weren't taking anything. So people were leaving them at the donation centers and they were getting ruined and had to be thrown away. So I've encouraged people through social media not to take things to a closed donation center and just leave them. People were rifling through that stuff. It created a huge mess and they had to allocate costs to bring a dumpster in and throw everything away. Most donation centers have opened up on a limited basis right now and have allowed drop-off donations, hands-free donation drop-offs. So you may call and get no answer, but if you go there in person, you might see some designated boxes to put your donations in. And if you don't want to go with the bigger box store donation centers, you can call your individual neighborhood local resources and see what they're accepting. It's
Mhm.
also important to know, like I donate a lot of things to the Beaver County Humane Society. They can use all kinds of stuff. So can the Beaver County Women's Shelter. So they both on their websites have a wish list of things that they would like you to donate. And these are what they call in-kind donations. And so instead of donating money, you donate resources like blankets, towels, washcloths, cleaning supplies, office supplies. So if my clients are getting rid of things like that, I may earmark that thing, those resources for the Beaver County Humane Society because I know that they can use them. And then that becomes a tax write-off for my client.
Right. That's great. I had no idea that some of the larger box donation centers were accepting anything. So thanks for that information. Because I think so many people have used this time to start cleaning out and they just don't know where to put it. And they're so excited that they've actually cleaned something out. They don't want the junk sitting around.
And so what I tell them is have one area in your home, basement, or garage where you can just stage that stuff for now until you have the time to go drop it off. But put that on your calendar as an appointment. Tuesday at 2 o'clock, I'm going to load up the car and I'm going to take it to the donation center.
Yep, definitely. Yes, because otherwise,
Have a plan on getting rid of it, but until you can, stage it in one specific place of the house.
and if I could just throw in my personal plug for the Lions Club, I'm actively involved in the Beaver Falls Lions Club, and I know a couple of the other Lions Clubs. We do yard sales where people will just donate things, and we make thousands of dollars, and all of that money stays uber local. So while I take some of the donations and store them in my garage, we have a member who has a warehouse. So if anyone has anything, we're definitely, I can arrange for stuff to be dropped off for the next yard sale, which who knows when we will go back to yard selling. But
I totally forgot you were part of the Lions Club. You've had me speak to your
yeah,
chapter there too.
yeah.
And one of the things that I donate to the Lions Club is if I'm helping clients declutter or downsize, we almost always find old eyeglasses. And that's one of the things that I always donate to the Lions Center.
And we are in always dire need of children's glasses. People don't really think of that. They give away their grown-up glasses, but not the kids' glasses. And one time I asked, like, all right, so we save all of these glasses, we ship them off to third world countries. Now, what happens when they arrive at the third world countries? And I'm totally off topic here, but I think that we take America for granted a little bit because they literally take the boxes of glasses, dump them on the table, and people just try glasses on, and whatever feels best, that's what they do. So, yeah, and one time I went to a yard sale, and I see glasses laying around all the time. If I'm at a yard sale, I'm asking if the people will give us the glasses because nobody's going to buy a pair of glasses at a yard sale.
Well,
So,
I know that I shop at Walmart, and Walmart has a drop-off box for the Lions Club for used eyeglasses. So I usually just keep those glasses in my car. And when I remember when I'm going to Walmart, I just take them in and put them in the drop
yep,
box.
that's perfect.
But we've even, NAPO Pittsburgh chapter has done a eyeglass drive and donated like 91 pair of glasses due to our eyeglass drive to the Lions Club. Well, actually, they went to the Beaver County Blind Association and they send them to the Lions Club,
Right.
I believe.
Yep. So it's really interesting when you get involved in organizations like that to realize what's happening with all of this stuff that.
Yeah, I have a wealth of resources that I can recommend to my clients.
Fantastic. All right. So the last question is, when is the best time to start the process?
I would say 6 months to a year before you're ready to move. So whether you're moving on your own with family members or you're hiring a moving company, the moving company bases your cost on how much they're going to load on the truck and move. So the less they have to load and move, and the less the truck weighs, the more you're going to save money. And this is a process. You're not going to get it done in a weekend or a week's worth of vacation. You want to start 6 months to a year ahead of time. Go room by room if you need to, and just do a little at a time. You could get this done in 2 hours a week over the course of 6 months or a year.
That's fantastic advice. So before we started recording, Dorothy was showing me some before and after pictures of a job that she just completed. So I thought that it would be really interesting for her to pop those up and show us those photos.
I would love to, Lisa. Let me share the screen and I'll show you one of the best before and after photos I have of working with a client. Can you see that, Lisa?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the before picture. Now, this is the after picture.
Yeah.
When you walk into this house, you see what a beautiful floor they have, how the furniture is arranged. You can picture yourself sitting there or having your family over for an event.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't declutter first, you're not going to be able to envision that. This is the before picture. This is the amount of clutter that the homeowner had. And this, of course, is an in-process picture. but she didn't use her living room a lot. She lived alone with her dog in this huge house, and basically her living space was her bedroom, her bathroom, and the kitchen. So a lot of things just got piled up. Things that she ordered, things that she had planned on donating and never did. So when you look at this, if you were coming in to look at somebody's house, if you were showing it on the market, you would never want to show it like this. You can't really appreciate the beautiful hardwood floor. You can't see all the way to the back without your eye getting distracted by all the clutter. There's a beautiful glass door that goes out to a patio. You can't even see the furniture.
Mhm.
So after working with her for several months, this is what it looked like when she was finally ready to show. And as a matter of fact, her realtor found her somebody interested in the home before it even went on the market. This is what we staged it to look like before the potential buyers came in. And that day, they loved the house. They made an offer. They offered her exactly what she was asking for. And they put in an offer the same day, and they wound up buying the house. And they had to close 30 days later. So then we had to really scramble to finish our project because we had planned to do this over the course of 6 months or 3 months. And then we had about 30 days to
Yeah.
finish it up.
Yeah.
So this is what it looked like staged.
That's amazing. I can tell you, I've walked into plenty of homes with that before picture, and it's a turnoff because a lot of buyers cannot imagine a space. They have to be able to see it and picture themselves there. And you can't picture yourself in a room piled from ceiling to floor full of things. It's very, very
And
difficult.
Lisa, this is very important from using a real estate agent perspective. I know some people want to try to do this on their own and sell their house, but
Hmm.
a real estate agent kind of, in my opinion, has the responsibility to say, we're not even going to take pictures of your home until it looks its best. And
Yes.
I've seen pictures on some people's websites, some realtors' websites, where the clients haven't even decluttered yet. And I'm thinking,
There's
my
a,
God,
there's a whole
who is
Facebook group
representing this
dedicated to
buyer?
that.
Who would let them put these pictures up?
Yeah, there's a whole Facebook group dedicated to agents who take photos like that. It's called Really Bad MLS Photos. So it's always good for a giggle when you're having a bad day as a real estate agent to go on there. And, I've listed some homes where the buyers couldn't declutter, and you're just kind of forced with
I can
showing it as
understand
is.
that.
And it's very difficult to get people to come in and see the possibilities. So
People don't
always.
want to spend the time or money.
They don't want to spend the time or money, and then it's time to move, and it's just so overwhelming to try to pack all of that up. And it's so important to have someone like you come because moving is hard work. Why do you want to lug stuff to another house when you don't need it or want it?
Moving is one of the top 10 stressors that we go through with a wedding, a new baby, the death of a person in the family. Moving is right up there, probably in the top 5.
Yes.
So if people don't have the time, maybe somebody's mother passed away or somebody's parent passed away, or even an aunt, and the family members have to come in now and do all this. They want somebody to come in and do an estate sale and just put the house on the market. They don't really want to get hands on. They're worried more about getting it done quickly. They're grieving the loss of a family member, and so they don't want to invest the time and money to do all this. They just want it done. So I can understand occasionally where there might be some people that don't have any other choice but to do that. And I'm not judging. I'm just saying that, like, I got up and brushed my hair and put makeup on this morning because I wanted to put my best foot forward. And if I was going to put my home on the market, I would want to do the same thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Dorothy, I really appreciate the time that you took to come on here and give everybody some tips. And I'm sure that there will be a few people that find your information just invaluable because they're probably sitting there right now thinking, what should I do with all of this stuff? So hopefully they will reach out to you. And I will definitely add your contact information when I share this video. But do you want to give everybody your phone number and your website?
Sure. The website is www.clearorganization.biz. Clear organization, one word, B-I-Z. www.clearorganization.biz. The phone number is 412-913-9191. Really easy to remember. You can see me on social media, most platforms. And the first call is free. Just call and take about 15 minutes. Let me know your situation, and I'll be able to let you know whether or not I'm the right person to help you or if I need to refer you to someone else.
And what areas do you service?
Well, I live in Conway, PA, which is in Beaver County, and I travel up to an hour to see a client.
Okay.
So it could be probably up to an hour from my home. So I've gone as far as from Monroeville, as far south as Canonsburg, Bridgeville, and I've gone up to Newcastle.
And if someone is not in those areas, they can still reach out to you because you've got that whole network of professionals that you could refer them.
Absolutely. And I can help put you on the right track to finding somebody in your area. And if it's outside of my area, that's what we do. If I don't feel like going all the way up to the northern part of Butler, I know some organizers up there and I would refer you to them.
Okay, great. And Dorothy is always very humble. I did not know this for a very long time, but she was on an episode of Hoarders, right? Hoarders.
Yes, they
Oh,
filmed an episode in 2015, I believe it was, in Beaver Falls, PA. And 3 of our professional organizers from NAPO, Pittsburgh, were invited to be on the show. We were behind the scenes, but we did a lot to help the homeowners and their family.
yeah. I just always find that so fascinating. So, yay.
It was a great opportunity. I learned a lot.
I'm sure. All right, Dorothy. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you,
And I
Lisa.
hope everyone enjoyed this and found the information useful. I'm Lisa Lathom, team leader with the Lisa Lathom team, brokered by eXp Realty. And again, Dorothy Clear from Clear Organization. And her book is available. I'm going to keep plugging this book. It's on Amazon, right, Dorothy?
Yes, it is. It's on Amazon in paperback or on a Kindle.
Yeah, Restore Order, Restore Joy. It's a quick read, so if you're looking for something good, and I was fortunate enough to get my copy signed. So if anybody gets it and they'd like a signed copy, I could definitely make that happen for you. So thanks, Dorothy.
Thank you, Lisa.